Good morning. We are at Psalm 15. It's Thursday morning, and I'm glad to be with you on this Thursday morning. It's a short psalm. I'm going to read it for you, give you a little bit of background. This one actually needs some commentary help for us to understand it, but let's read it. Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent? Who may live on your holy mountain? The one whose walk is blameless, who does what is righteous, who speaks the truth from their heart, whose tongue utters no slander, who does no wrong to a neighbor, who casts no slur on others, who despises a vile person but honors those who fear the Lord, who keeps an oath even when it hurts and does not change their mind, who lends money to the poor without interest, who does not accept a bribe against the innocent. Whoever does these things will never be shaken. So, one of the things, if you compare this literature against literature of the time, you realize that there's similarities. So every temple would actually have some ritual process of admitting people into the temple for worship. Some questions, some dialogue, interaction between those who were at the front of the temple and those who were wanting to come in. So this is actually a psalm that's doing that very process. Who may dwell in your sacred tent? That's the question asked of the pilgrim coming into the temple. Who may dwell? And the answer, the one whose walk is blameless and who does what is righteous, who speaks the truth from their heart. We think that the next three verses actually are describing, they're kind of additions to, but the understanding is here, has the pilgrim tried to live their life according to God's will? Have they prepared themselves? Are they living a life of obedience? So this would be a common kind of refrain. So a question would be asked, and the answer would be, this: I've prepared myself. I'm living according to God's ways. What I find really interesting here is it does reveal to you a sense of what ancient morality looked like. What was important to God as communicated through this to His people? Blamelessness, righteousness, truthfulness, a tongue that doesn't use slander as a weapon, who doesn't wrong his neighbor, doesn't justify actions of violence, who casts no slur, those who separate themselves from vile or dishonest people, those who fear the Lord, those who keep their word even when it hurts, those who lend money to the poor and don't take advantage of them, those who do not accept bribes. So this is kind of an ancient moral code. So what does it mean to live in God's will? This would have been kind of a way of thinking about it. I love the promise that comes with it too. Whoever does these things will never be shaken. In some ways, if you live according to God's ways, this is kind of Psalm 1, Psalm 119, God's word, God's ways, there are promises as to what you can expect if you really try to live in a righteous or obedient way. Now, obviously, when we read this and we're somewhat aware of our own sin, it is a confusing thing to know how to pray this psalm. I'll just give you one other little quick thought. If you go to the prayer book, the lectionary, guess which psalm is used on Ascension Day? This psalm, Psalm 15. The idea is Christ is ascending to the Father, and the reason why he can ascend to the Father is because he's lived out these truths. These are the ways that Jesus himself lived. This was true of him, and so he gained entrance to the kingdom, to the Father, right? In that regard. It also reminds me of Hebrews, of Jesus going before us as a great high priest, as a mediator. So in some ways, I don't have to have confidence in myself that these things have to be true for me to approach God. They have to be true about Jesus. He approaches God, and I kind of go with him. But I'm not. I am aware, even so. This list of things are things that are aspirational. I'm to aspire to be this kind of a person. Jesus was this kind of person, and so should I be a person who's learning from Jesus how those things can be true of me as well. Anyhow, it's a really interesting psalm. I hope it's an encouragement to you on this day. Grace and peace.